What's up, guys? Welcome back to more Reddit stories about entitled people, crazy people, and anything else we find interesting. And as usual, we got some more Reddit posts to check out today. So feel free to share your thoughts about today's stories down in the comments, and let's get into it. Today I effed up by losing all my money, getting locked out of my hotel room in just my underwear, and almost getting arrested. I was staying at the casino/hotel in Biloxi, Mississippi for a work conference. At these conferences, most people do more drinking and gambling than actual working. This particular evening, I was planning on doing both. I had an hour or so to kill before dinner, so I went to the ATM and pulled out my maximum daily amount. After losing just $100, I put the rest of the money in my money clip on my wallet and walked to meet a client at Mary Mahoney's for dinner. He brought along some coworkers of his, and after the dinner, we all exchanged business cards. During this process, my money clip came undone, and all my money fell out of my wallet. Not knowing, I headed back to the hotel to start my big night of gambling. After finding the perfect seat at the blackjack table for my impending heater, I realized my money clip is empty and I've lost all my money without the thrill of actually losing it. I retraced my steps from the hotel to the restaurant many times before giving up. I hope someone who needed it found that money, I tell myself, trying to find the silver lining. Since I've already pulled out my daily limit from the ATM, I have no choice but to call it a night. I went up to my room, ordered pay-per-view and some room service. I like to sleep in my underwear and just my underwear, so I strip down, get in bed, eat my room service, and watch my movie. Then my night goes from bad to worse. Movie ends. I decided it would be best to clean up some before bed. So I take my room service tray out into the hall and set it down. As I'm setting down the tray, the door closes and locks behind me. I frantically try to shake the handle, just praying the door will by some miracle open. No miracles. I then knock on a few of the doors of my neighbors, hoping I can use their phone to call the front desk. Again, I'm just in my whitey-tighties. No one answered or came to the door, weirdly. Fear sets in. Realization happens. I'm going to have to go to the front desk and get another key. I start walking/jogging to the elevator. I pass a man who just looks at me and doesn't even acknowledge I'm jogging and in my underwear. Bless you, I think. I get in the elevator. As the elevator starts going down, I realize that I'm going to have to walk through the entire casino to get to the front desk. My luck continues. Elevator opens to a group of about 20 to 25 middle-aged women on a bachelorette party. This is quite possibly the worst thing that could have happened to me. Not only are all these women hooting and hollering at me in my underwear, everyone in the casino is now curious as to what is causing the commotion. I make my way through them, feeling the warm eyes of everyone in the casino as I walk, looking very much like Walter White in Season 1 in my underwear through the casino. One of the security guards has noticed all this and has decided that he thinks I'm just some punk young adult trying to create a scene. He comes up behind me and immediately puts me in handcuffs. I didn't even get one word out of my mouth beforehand. Can this get worse? Police show up. Cops are now talking with security guard about what has happened. All the while, I'm now sitting in my underwear, handcuffed in the middle of the casino floor. I still have not even gotten to tell anyone that I'm simply locked out of my room and extremely embarrassed. Finally, the cops start asking me what in the hell I'm thinking. I proceed to tell them everything that has just happened and that I'm actually staying at the hotel. Once they realize that this was simply a mistake and not me just being an asshole running around in my underwear, they uncuff me. The security guard then called the front desk and confirmed my information and told me to go wait by my room and they would send someone up with the key. I went back up to my room and was sitting in my underwear by the door when a girl from the hotel walked up and said, "Yep, you're clearly who I'm here to help." Yes I am. It was sort of like that dream where you wake up in class in nothing but your underwear. Except it was a casino and it was real. Neighbor had 3 dogs that barked all throughout the day and night for 3 years. Finally got some relief after about $80,000 in legal fees. I moved into this house just over 3 years ago and it was almost immediately clear there was a problem. There was barking non-stop throughout the day and I would be woken up late at night by one neighbor's dogs. And this wasn't just barking, it was 3 large dogs going crazy. Sounded like a pack of hyenas. The property line and the fence to their yard is only about 10 feet from my master bedroom, and they'd let these dogs out multiple times per night, 1 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., any time of night where they would bark like crazy and wake me up. While not a perfect analogy, I liken it to what's called Chinese water torture, where drops of water are dripped onto the victim's forehead. You wouldn't think of drips of water as being torture, but if you do it long enough, it drives people insane. Likewise, I think everyone knows barking can be annoying. When you are subjected to it day after day, night after night, it becomes torture and was driving me insane. I tried talking to the neighbors many times, but it was in one ear, out the other. I finally put up cameras to document, and the police came and charged them with animal creating a nuisance. That's when the barking got even worse. Their lawyer kept putting off the municipal court charges, so I finally decided to get a lawyer, which wasn't easy, and sue them in circuit court. Then these neighbors started shining spotlights and lasers into my home late at night. First time it happened, I seriously thought I was being abducted by aliens. Got the police involved again, and they were charged with harassment. This continued for another year before the municipal court finally put their foot down and had a trial. Mind you, all of this was on camera, so there was never any doubt what happened or who did it. This was in municipal court, mind you, where a trial is supposed to last only a few minutes. We were the first trial of the day and it took 3 hours. The prosecutor kept telling me this had to be the longest municipal court trial in history, and they had 20 more trials that day. They were obviously found guilty on all charges, but were only given a minor fine. After that judgment, it got even worse, and they were charged 2 more times in February, and those cases are still pending in municipal court. In March, we had a 2-day civil bench trial for my lawsuit, and the judge took over 4 months to give a judgment, because I had submitted tens and tens of hours of security camera footage of the barking and the other stuff done to me. The judge ordered the neighbors to remove 2 of the 3 dogs within 60 days, and barred them from ever having more than 1 dog. Finally, at the beginning of September, the 2 dogs were removed, and I finally have some peace and quiet. However, it cost me upwards of $80,000 in legal fees, and hundreds of hours of my time and probably years off my life and stress. Would never wish this on anyone. Roped into our neighbor's search warrant because we live in a duplex. My wife and I live in the upstairs unit of a duplex in Minnesota. The 2 units have separate house numbers and are independent, aside from a shared entryway, garage, and trash cans. We have our own keys, front doors inside the entryway, mailboxes, electric meters, etc. Earlier this week, multiple police officers and a SWAT unit executed a search warrant for the downstairs unit. The warrant was for narcotics and firearms. At 7 a.m. on the dot, the Minneapolis Police Department showed up with no sirens and blocked off the street on both sides of the house. They then forcibly broke down the shared entryway door, then the downstairs neighbor's front door, and also the man door to the garage, which actually left a small dent in our car parked inside. Not major, but still. Our front door, the one to our upstairs unit, is the only exterior door that still works in the entire building because I opened it myself when they told us to come out with their hands up. They shoved rifles in our faces, cuffed us, and put us in the back of a squad car, where we were for about 2 hours while they searched both apartments. They uncuffed us about an hour in, but we were not allowed to leave the car. They initially told us that the warrant was for downstairs, street address 50, not the real number, and asked us repeatedly if we lived there. We said no, we live at 48 and have no connection to the people in 50. We literally just moved here less than 6 months ago from out of state. The most we interact with the folks in 50 is a "hey, how are you?" if we happen to be in the entryway together. They asked if the apartments connected at all once inside the respective front doors. They do not. They also asked my wife multiple times if she was a specific downstairs neighbor. She is not. Both my wife and that specific neighbor are black women. Then they told us the warrant was for the entire building and the garage. Eventually, they printed us a second warrant on the spot that listed our upstairs address, which we only got after the searches were over. We were also directly told by an apologetic sergeant that this had nothing to do with us, and we were just caught in the crossfire. During the search of our unit, which was not as thorough as 50's, they seized my wife's iPad. The only thing on this iPad is my wife's art. Nobody touches this iPad save for my wife, not even me. They left all other electronics untouched, including my own iPad and our laptops. Meanwhile, they took every single electronic device from all the folks in 50, including their cell phones and work computers. My wife did sign a document allowing them to search the iPad. We were told it could take a month or more if she didn't, and her art is one of our revenue streams. We can't afford to be without it for an extended period of time. We did get a receipt. We don't own firearms and don't use or sell illicit drugs. We are law-abiding citizens with nothing to hide. The worst things in our apartment are weed, legal here, blunt prop swords, prescribed medication, and angry cats. All were left unharmed. No arrests were made, so I'm assuming nothing illegal was found downstairs either. The whole scene was very overwhelming and frankly a little terrifying, especially with guns pointed at us first thing in the morning. I'm kicking myself for not paying better attention because the situation feels off to me. I was more worried about making sure the cops didn't manhandle my wife and knew about our escape artist, Kat. I'm also disabled, so sitting with my hands cuffed behind me so tightly for so long was not a great experience, and I was and am in a lot of pain. Yeah, and most people in the comments seem to agree that this definitely was an illegal search. I don't see how it could be otherwise, honestly. And also the weird thing is that the warrant was for Unit 48, but it seems like after realizing their mistake, after they searched Unit 50 as well, they updated the warrant on the spot and reprinted it. But that's the thing, you can't just update a warrant and reprint it on scene after you've already done the search and say, oh look, now we have the warrant for what we already did. So whatever they did there, they were probably just bluffing and being dishonest and trying to save face because they knew they effed up. I'm sure if you took a look at the actual warrant, like the one that's kept in the database, it would not say Unit 50 on it. And also considering the sergeant literally told OP that they were just caught in the crossfire, that does conflict with them trying to show OP their updated second warrant that they printed out after the fact that included their unit. It's like, which is it then? Was I caught in the crossfire or is my unit actually on the warrant? This whole thing is such a mess. Anyway guys, that's going to be all for today. Thank you for watching everyone, I do appreciate it. If you enjoyed, be sure to hit that like button and also subscribe to the channel if you want to see more Reddit content like this. Anyway, I'm out of here, so stay tuned for more and I'll see you next time.